First time I came was 1996 as a guest, and then the following year, Roger Staubach asked me to be the co-chair with him, and I just think they do a fantastic job. I've had a relationship with Children's for a number of years prior to that with my own foundation, and I just think it's one of the best events that they put on in Dallas. It's obviously for a great cause, and then I didn't even have kids of my own at the time, and now that I do and see what these parents go through as well as the kids, and like I said on stage, I'll keep coming as long as I keep being asked, and hopefully we don't have to continue with this much longer, but until we find a cure, I'll keep doing it.
So what does it mean to be
Yeah, I think I probably get a little too much credit for what I do as a part of it. The people that give so much of their time and their money, and really the stars of this event are the kids. And we get a chance to see them when we have the gala. This year it'll be on April 11th. For those that have not been to this event, they really owe it to themselves to come and support it and see these kids. It's a wonderful evening. But yeah, I just, like all of us, everyone that's here today and elsewhere, when you see what these kids go through and have to endure and not being able to have typical lives like a lot of normal kids that aren't as ill, it pulls on you a little bit. So you do everything you can to try to help out.
Like getting to see the kids, like two kids and have a good time. Like they're not cancer patients or anything. These things
Yeah, I think that's the best part. And when I started my foundation, we were building playrooms within these children's hospitals. Children's here in Dallas was our first one that we put in, and it was for that very reason. We wanted kids when they were, hospitals are scary places, and when they're able to kind of forget their own condition and be kids, it's a great thing to witness. And as good as it's been for those kids, what we found was it was probably even more impactful on the parents to be able to watch their kids, have some levity in their lives and do some things without kind of the hardships that they had to endure up to that point. So I think what Children's does is terrific. It's one of the best in the nation. And the people that help put this event on each and every year, they do a fantastic job.
What does it mean to see Dak pick up the baton? What does that mean?
Yeah, well, it's meant a lot. As I mentioned, Roger reached out to me, and then when I called Dak, I told him, I said, I'm making the call to you that Roger made to me, a couple decades ago, and he answered it the same way I did. He wanted to be a part of it, and he'll one day be asking someone else to co-chair along with him, and it'll just continue. But we all owe Roger a real debt of gratitude for what he started and allowed us to be a part of.
From what you know of Brian Schottenheimer, is he ready for this challenge now as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, I don't know if you ever are ready. I hear it's one of those jobs that you think you're ready, but until you get in that seat and really understand everything that goes into it, you're not quite prepared. But he's been coaching a long time. He obviously watched it with his dad. He's got to be as prepared as anyone who's not yet been a head coach can be. And I'm hopeful that he does a great job.
If he asked you for advice, what would you tell him, knowing how the operation works out there?
I think he probably has a better idea these days than I do. So maybe he can give me some advice on how I should answer some of these things.
In addition to Schottenheimer, the job, what do you think of the process and how they went about getting to the head coaching? They really didn't canvass a lot of coaches.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why the reaction from the fans has been what it's been. When you're talking about not having had an official interview with arguably the greatest coach of all time, and then the hottest coach in this hiring cycle in Ben Johnson, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I don't know how much Jerry looked into what he wanted to do when those decisions were made. So it's easy on the outside to try to make conclusions. I think it's probably unfair to a lot of people, but as I've said before, it's one thing if you hire someone that everyone's excited about, for instance, like they are in Chicago, but none of that matters now. over the next few months it might, and as far as how people are talking about your team. But when the season rolls around week 1, whether it's Ben Johnson or Kellen Moore or Brian Schottenheimer, everybody's then being judged on a level playing field, and it's all about winning. So it doesn't matter who won the headlines once the coach was hired, and we'll see. I think Dallas has some really good players. The man here today with Dak Prescott, obviously being one of the key guys, but they've got a lot of good things, a lot of things to like, and I'm hopeful that they can have a heck of a year.
Is it tough year after year to see the Cowboys not in the Super Bowl, or you kind of resign yourself to that fact? I mean, it's going on 30 years now. You guys get ready to have your 30-year anniversary of the 95 team.
Well, it's just hard to believe. I mean, I remember in '95 when we won our last Super Bowl that I didn't think we were done then. I thought we had more in us, and I thought we would be back. Obviously, we weren't. But not only were we not back, but here we are almost 3 decades later, and no one's been back. And so, I think I speak for the Cowboys faithful in saying that it's been a long time, and this is the Dallas Cowboys, and it's an organization that's had great history, and this team has won a lot of games over the years with a lot of different players. But for whatever reasons, they just haven't been able to get it done in the postseason. But I don't think anybody's happy about that. That's been a part of the Cowboys' legacy and what this franchise has stood for so many years.
Thank you all.